My brother promised to help pay rent. Not in a vague way, not in a we'll see what happens way. He looked me in the face, standing in my kitchen with his backpack half unzipped and a stupid grin because he had charmed the woman at the corner store into giving him an extra pack of gum. And he said, I swear I'll cover my half at the start of the month. I'm not dead weight. He had just moved in with me because life is expensive and vibes were bad at Mom's place. Mom called me, of course. The phone rang when I was standing outside my job, the sky already dark, a bag of groceries digging into the crease of my arm. She always uses that soft voice with me, like I'm a sponge that just soaks and doesn't drip. He just needs a place to land, baby. You're so good with money. You'll keep him out of trouble, please. I work 2 jobs. One is the morning shift at the cafe making drinks and pretending I don't see teenagers slip extra sugar packets into their pockets. The other is at the store at night counting and restocking lifting boxes until my back sings. I am always tired. My feet ache. My brain hums. I fall asleep to the glow of the TV and wake up to the tick of my phone alarm and the crack in the ceiling I still haven't had time to get fixed. But I said yes because that's what I do. I patch things, I hold roofs up with my hands, so he moved in with a half laugh and a half apology and a lot of promises. I'll be out of your hair by fall. I'll get that job at the shop on Main, my buddy knows the manager. I'll keep the place clean. You know the song, we've all heard it. The first week he swore he was getting interviews lined up. The second week he said some of them got pushed because he had to help Cassie with something. Cassie is his girlfriend. She is pretty in a sweet round way, like a face you could draw with soft lines and big eyes. She always says, thank you, when I hand her a glass or move my bag off the seat so she can sit. She works at a daycare and has this calm, patient voice that I kind of want to wrap around myself like a blanket. So I didn't mind when she came by, not at first. We sat at my little table with the plant that is always somehow half dying and half thriving, and I said, rent is due on the 1st. It's simple, half from me, half from you, transfer it over that morning. He nodded, I got you. Now imagine me on the 1st, opening my banking app before I even rolled out of bed. The light hurt my eyes. My phone was on 70% because the charger by my mattress is broken and you have to angle the cord just so. I checked the balance, no transfer. I took a deep breath. People are late, people forget. I am not a monster. I sent a message. Hey, need your half today, landlord is strict. He sent back a thumbs up. I cleaned. I took out the trash. I made eggs and put 2 aside for him because he hates when the yolk is too runny. He stumbled out at noon like he had discovered what day it was with a shock. He said he was waiting on a payment from a freelance thing he did with a friend. Their friend sells sneakers. They did promo for him and that it would hit his account by the afternoon. He promised again. He took the plate of eggs. He kissed his fingers at me like I was a saint. I laughed, but the kind that feels thin and tired. My landlord is not a monster either. He knows I work. He knows I'm reliable. But he also has a mortgage and a low tolerance for my brother is figuring it out. He sent a reminder. I said I'd have it. He said, good. 3 letters, that's it. Sometimes short words feel heavier than long ones. By evening, still no transfer. My brother had gone to meet someone about a gig and then gone to get tacos with Cassie. He sent me a picture of a plate, messy, colorful, those big squares of white cheese with you want one. Like that would make rent appear. I said, just send the money. He sent another thumbs up. I swallowed my irritation. I counted tips from the jar under my sink. I moved money from the envelope where I keep extra for emergencies. I breathed and told myself it would be fine. I woke up the next morning, tried the app again. Nothing, my stomach tightened. I sent a message, do not leave me hanging. He called, I answered. He was brisk, excited, walking somewhere. Hey, I'm about to lose signal. Can we talk later? I'll send it by noon, promise. I stood very still. It's already late. Babe, he said, the way he always calls me babe, like I'm not his sister, but a person he needs to charm. Don't stress, it's handled. The call dropped. He didn't call back. I went to work and pulled espresso shots and smiled at regulars and tried not to stare at my phone every 5 minutes. My hands shook when I had to count change. I kept thinking of the envelope, the electric bill, of the bag of cat food because my old cat Moses has a special diet, of how fast money evaporates when you think it will drift down like a lucky leaf. Noon came and went. I sent, where is it? He sent a heart. I wanted to throw his phone into the ocean. I wanted to throw my own into the ocean. I wanted the ocean to creep up into my living room and take the couch, the rug, all of it, because then at least the problem would be simple, water everywhere. But I kept my face straight. I finished my shift. I walked home with the sun slipping down everything orange. I took the stairs because the elevator was still broken. On my couch, I opened Instagram to distract myself. Yes, I know, but sometimes you need to look at pictures of dogs wearing sweaters. The first story that pops up is my brother's face. He is at the airport. He is holding his boarding pass like a trophy. He tagged Cassie and wrote, surprise trip, with hearts and little airplane icons. The next clip is both of them laughing into the camera and his lips move like he is saying something just for her. The next clip is the wing of a plane through a tiny window, blue sky, white cloud, the look of money. I sat there, quiet. Then I opened my messages. I said, are you serious? No answer, red dot, no reply. I clicked through more. Them in a hotel lobby, all gold and marble, the kind of place where the carpet tries to swallow your shoes. Them at a beach with water so clear you could drink it. Him in a white shirt, hair combed back, sun on his stupid grin. Her in one of those dresses with a swishy skirt, holding sandals in one hand. A shot of a plate of food where the forks are tiny and the portions like art. A picture of a ring box. I threw my phone down on the couch like it burned. I knew. The money. The rent, my half and his half. He promised. He swore. He turned it into a surprise engagement trip. I called him. He hit decline. I called again, decline. I sent, if you do not send it now, I am going to the landlord and I am telling him you moved out. He finally sent a reply, please don't ruin this for me. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I'll fix it when we get back. I just sat there and shook. My chest was tight. My hands felt like rubber. I called Mom. She answered with that voice again. I told her what he did. She said, oh, honey, that's not true. He told me he had this all planned for months. Did he tell you he was supposed to pay rent? Silence. Then, well, you know how he is with details. I almost laughed. Details like food and shelter. She switched to that tone, you know the tone, where the person is half on your side in a way that is really them being on their own. I'm sure he'll make it up to you. Don't be negative, don't ruin their special moment. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. Rent was due. My landlord was not going to take love as a form of payment. I took a breath. I took another. I called him. He didn't answer. I sent one final message. You have until the end of today. After that, I will assume you've moved out. He sent back a paragraph. It was long. It was sweet. It was all air. You never support me. I knew you'd make this about money. We grew up with nothing. I wanted to do something big. Cassie deserves a story. Don't make me the bad guy for once. I wanted to throw my phone through a wall. I sold my old tablet to a guy who smelled like cologne and cigarettes. I took my grandma's ring, the one with the missing stone, to a pawn shop because I needed quick cash for the late fee. The pawnbroker tried to tell me it wasn't worth much. I looked him dead in the eye until he squeezed out a few extra bills. I texted my friend who already spots me when I'm short for gas. I hated myself, but I asked anyway. She said, of course, because she is the kind of person who is an actual gift. I took an extra shift that night, my legs screaming, my hands cracking from the cardboard. I paid the rent. I paid the late fee. I paid the universe for the lesson that I had already learned 1,000 times about love and money and how they twist around each other like vines. They got engaged on the beach at sunset. There were lanterns and some guy with a guitar and a photographer hiding behind a rock. The ring was round and simple and pretty. Cassie cried and put her hands to her mouth. My brother got down on one knee like he had invented the idea of kneeling. People clapped. Strangers in swimsuits clapped like they were at a wedding already. He posted it all. He tagged me. My sister is going to freak out. I did freak out. I freaked out in my living room alone with my cat watching me like I was making too much noise. I did not reply to his post. I did not send congratulations. I sat on my couch and listened to the neighbor upstairs play the same 3 songs. I put the dishes in the sink and let them soak. My phone buzzed with messages. Mom, are you going to say something nice? Auntie, love is everything. Stop being jealous. A cousin I haven't seen in years. OMG, did you see? They all knew the pictures. They did not know the late fee. They did not know me pacing the kitchen counting crumpled bills. He came back with a tan and a fiancé and a story about how it all had to be a surprise. They walked into my apartment like it was a stage. Mom was with them. Mom brought a cake. Mom brought those cheap plastic flutes. Mom yelled surprise. Like I had asked for party. Cassie hugged me, warm eyes wet still. It was beautiful, she whispered like she felt she had to whisper because she could feel the air around me hard like glass. My brother held up Cassie's hand so the ring caught the light. He said, can you believe it? Like he had pulled off a heist. I could believe it actually because I know him. He thrives off drama. He thrives off big gestures. He thrives off not thinking about what happens after the big gesture. Later, when the dishes pile in the sink and the lights go off, he expects someone else to lift the boulder. That someone is usually me. I swallowed and said, where is the rent? It felt like the music stopped in an old movie. Mom put her fork down. Cassie looked at my face like she had seen a crack in a wall she always thought was solid. My brother's smile faltered, then he waved a hand. I told you I'm on it. I needed you to be flexible for like one single time. One single time, I said very quiet. I work every day. I paid the rent. I paid the late fee. I pawned Nana's ring. His mouth opened like a fish. He hadn't expected me to say it so flatly. He expected me to sob or to fold or to say it's okay. It was romantic. He shook his head. That's dramatic. You using the money you promised for trip is dramatic. I'll pay you back. He threw his hands up like the words are magic. We're having an engagement dinner next week. Uncle Tony always slips cash. I'll square you. I stared at him. I thought about interest, not financial interest, human interest. The way people invest in you, the way you pay them back. I thought about how many times I had loaned money that never came back. I thought about the envelope that was thin now. Cassie looked between us. Wait, she said, voice small. What money? The quiet got heavier. Mom went, we don't have to do this right now. She smiled that smile that is not a smile. Let's cut the cake. Let's be happy. Cassie looked at my brother at her ring at me. What money, she said again. He shuffled, made excuses with his body before he made them with his mouth. I was going to tell you. I just didn't want to ruin the moment. I laughed. There it was, the moment, the thing that is always more important than the mess that follows. I got up, walked to the stack of mail on the counter, pulled out the late notice with the red ink. I put it on the table. That money. Cassie picked up the paper. She read the red ink. She swallowed. She put the paper down. Did you use your rent money? She asked my brother. To pay for the trip. He didn't answer. She asked again, slow. Did you? He said, we needed this. I wanted to show you. She put her hand up. Yes or no? He looked at Mom. Mom stared at the cake like it could save her. He looked down at his shoes. Yes, he said, soft like softness would erase the word. Everything after that happened in that messy, quick, ugly way that family fights always do. Mom told me I had embarrassed him. He said I had ruined his night. Cassie got quiet in a way I had never seen from her. She took her ring off. She held it in her palm like it was too hot. She did not cry. She just stood still like a tree, like a mountain. I didn't know, she said to me so low I almost didn't hear her. He told me he had saved. I told him not to do it, Mom said, late, too late, throwing words out like they could mop up the mess. I told him to wait. I laughed again, a short sound. You told him to move into my apartment. Mom's face sagged. Don't, she said. Don't keep score. But that's the thing about not keeping score. It only works if everyone plays the same game. I have been keeping score in my head for years, not because I want to throw it in anyone's face, because I need to remember how much I can carry before my back breaks. I told him you have two choices. One, you give me every cent you've got right now and we set up a plan for the rest, due each week, not next month, not when someone slips me cash at a party. Two, you pack your bag and go back to Mom's, today. He puffed up like a cat trying to look bigger. You can't kick me out. I can, I said, very simple. This is my lease. Those late fees are on my name. You used me. He tried that old manipulation trick. I am your brother, he said, like that word is a key to any locked door. Family helps. Family doesn't steal, I said. Family asks. He looked at Cassie, maybe expecting her to take his side. She was still holding the ring. She looked sick. I need to go home, she said, and to me, I'll call you. Then she walked out slow, careful, like she didn't want to knock anything over, like something fragile was sitting on every surface. Mom started to cry. This is breaking my heart. I felt my own heart. It was banging, sure, but it wasn't breaking. It had cracked and healed so many times it was stronger that way, scarred, yes, but tight. I said, then stop asking me to be the floor everyone walks on. He slept on the couch that night. He didn't go out. He didn't sneer. He didn't talk. He scrolled on his phone in the dark like the light could save him. I lay in my bed and stared at the crack in the ceiling. Moses came and sat on my chest like he knew I needed something heavy to keep me from floating away. The next day before I went to work, I put a list on the table. Simple. What he owed. When it was due. Where he should send it. No wiggle. No we'll see. He put 2 20s on the table like it was a ceremony. He said, that's all I got right now. He looked at me for praise. I said, okay, and I left for work. At my lunch break, when I checked my phone, there was a text from him. I'm moving my stuff to Mom's today. I need space. I sent, okay. He sent, I'll get you the rest. I sent nothing. Mom called that night. She called me names and then she didn't. Then she tried to call me sweet things and then she went back to names. I told her I love her. I told her I am not a bank. I told her my door is not a revolving door. I cried after I hung up. I cried in that sharp, quiet way that hurts your throat. Then I washed my face, fed Moses, and went to bed again. Cassie texted me 3 days later. She said, can we talk? We sat on a bench in the park near the duck pond. She wore a sweatshirt and no ring. She told me my brother had told her what he did mostly. She said he called me stubborn and cold. She said he said you just hate that he's happy. I laughed a little because if there is anything I have done with my free time, which by the way is tiny and precious, it is cheering that man on. I cheered when he got his GED. I cheered when he stopped smoking for 3 months. I cheered when he sent out a resume. I cheered until my voice was hoarse and then I kept clapping in my head when I had no voice left. I do not hate him being happy. I hate being used like a ladder he kicks away when he reaches the roof. Cassie looked at her hands. I love him, but I can't start my life with a man who lies about rent to take me to the beach. That's not a foundation. Love doesn't fix math, I said. She smiled sad. No, it doesn't. Later, because life is not a movie, he didn't hit some big apology arc in a week. He paid me slowly. A few bills here, some there. He would send a message next Friday for sure, and sometimes it would be the Friday after that. He came by with boxes to get his stuff. We kept it civil. He cried at the door once because Cassie told him they needed a break. He leaned his forehead on my doorframe and said, why is everything so hard? I said, because we were taught that people will catch us when we jump without asking where we're jumping from. He didn't get it, but I said it anyway. Mom cooled off. She said she was just so overwhelmed with emotions. She brought me bananas and paper towels like they were an apology. She asked if I could pick up my little cousin from school one day when she had a doctor's appointment. I said yes because I am not trying to be cruel. I am trying to be fair. There's a difference. It's been a little. The crack in the ceiling is still there. The plant still looks half dead and half alive. The cat still demands food like he's never seen a bowl in his life. My brother texted me a picture of a job application he filled out. Not the gig on Maine that fell through, of course it did, but something steady at a warehouse. He wrote, "I'm trying." I wrote, "Good." It was a small word, but it felt solid. Sometimes I scroll back to the day of the trip and I see my own messages. I think about the panic. I think about the pawn shop light fluorescent mean. I think about my grandma's ring sitting in some drawer. I think about the cake on my table and the way Mom's face squeezed when I said the word steal. And I feel two things at once, tired, yes, tired to my marrow, and also proud. Proud that I didn't let the word family become a knife. Proud that I saved my own home. Proud that I said no like a sentence and not a question. Strangers will read this and call me hard, or they will call me soft, or they will call me right, or wrong. I don't care, not really. I am not looking for a score. I am looking for a way to live where I can breathe, and my heart is not always racing because someone else's life is spilling into mine like a tipped-over glass. My brother promised to help pay rent, and then he took the money and used it for a surprise engagement trip. That is the fact. He told himself a story where this one big romantic gesture would fix his image, would lift him into some version of himself he wants to be. But that's not how it works. You can't write checks from a fantasy and expect your sister to cash them. I'm done being the person who makes the mess just a quiet thing that disappears by morning. If that makes me the villain in his story, fine. In mine, I am the one who paid the bills, fed the cat, went to work, and kept the lights on. In mine, I am the one who finally stopped pretending that love means I have to say yes to everything. It doesn't. Love can be no. Love can be pay your rent. Love can be get out. He will either learn that or he won't. Cassie will either take him back or she won't. Mom will either stop telling me that it's just money or she won't. But I know this, the roof over my head is not just money, it's my life. I earned it. I keep it. And I am not sorry for making sure it stays where it belongs, over me steady safe with no surprise trips needed to hold it down.